welcome to season 3, episode 20. And I am here with my co-host, Big Kenny, and I am the Scallywag.
What up, Scally?
I am. It is our last episode of the season. We will go to season 4 after this. This is season 20. Episode 20. Okay. I've got, there's a whole bunch of shit on the horizon. What do you know in the news there, Kenny? I'm going to let you lead off. What do you see that happened this week that gave you pause?
Well, Putin is thinking about sending that motherfucking missile and destroying somebody and someone because they're playing games with it.
Yeah. Well, he's using that. They say he used an intercontinental ballistic missile to fight in Ukraine. And the poor thing is that I just saw a thing about Ukraine, and they're fighting really hard because they know with the voting of Trump into the presidency that whatever land that they hold on to will probably be the limits of their country if they're lucky, because Trump ain't gonna support them. So that's
Trump a Putin fan, ain't he?
Oh yeah, Trump is a Putin puppet. So yeah, he's a Putin puppet. So anyway, he said as soon as he was elected, he'd have the war over. Well, he got elected and the war's not over. So another problem.
Get in office first, right?
No, he's got some gravitas right now because he's the president-elect of the United States. So he can go over there and, do some negotiating. I guess he has the power, somewhat power to negotiate or talk to him. He won't be guilty of a crime if he talks to him on the phone. He'd already been talking to him on the phone, so that won't be anything new. So he could have just called him up, but what Russia did as soon as he got elected, they went and put his wife's naked pictures on the front of their newspapers. So what do you think? That's an alpha dog move, ain't it? Huh?
Said, who wife did put naked picture there?
Trump's wife. You didn't know that, did you? You come here and you find out shit that just swoop right past you, didn't you, Kitty? Yeah, they were laughing and shit, and Putin waited for a number of days before he congratulated Trump. And then they said, he's going to owe a lot of debts to a lot of people. Now, this is a paraphrase that assisted him in the last election, and he needs to live up to that. And then they put out that alpha dog move by putting his naked wife on in the newspapers. Ain't that some shit, huh?
Is Trump pissed off?
What Trump's going to do, You don't bite the hand that's, the dog don't bite you if you kick him in the ass unless he's really hurting. So anyway, no, he let it go, and he didn't even he act like he didn't even see it. So quick notes, Matt Gaetz was going to be the Attorney General, known Mann Act guy that got away with, what the Mann Act is?
I thought he withdrew his name.
He did, but they would put Trump put him in as was going to put him in as the Attorney General. Now here's a guy that the Congress is investigating for sex with a minor, paying for sex, and illicit drug use. Now, that's the kind of guy that we need to have as the top law enforcement officer of the United States. Don't you think, Kenny?
Shit, he needed ass with that. What he
needed. So he resigned from Congress a week ago because he was saying that and he got reelected. So they haven't sworn in the new Congress, so they're still in the last session of the last Congress. So they were going to release inquiry, an investigation with a bipartisan group of congressmen. They were going to release their findings. And it wasn't bad, and the only way he could stop them from releasing the findings was to resign from Congress. So then he resigns from Congress, and Trump wants to appoint him Attorney General of the United States. Now they're investigating him. Well, what do they say? Birds of a feather flock together. Trump has been convicted of sexually molesting a woman in New York, and he has probably about 20 women who's it may not be the correct number, so nobody come up jumping on me, but there's a lot of women who have credibly accused Trump of sexually abusing them. And then he stated his own search that he would grab women by the pussy, and that he would go Miss Teen America. I think he was the sponsor of that, and he says he liked to go in the back because he was the pageant sponsor. He could go back there and see all the young girls dressing, So I would say that he's one of the birds in the feather. And then, of course, his known fucking association with Epstein, the pedophile that died in jail, interesting enough, and his girl, his lady pimp who was picking up women, Jelena Maxwell, I think her name was. They convicted her.
She's still in jail. Huh?
She's in jail. She got convicted of a crime for, So Matt Gaetz was they had some people come out from that congressional investigation said that they witnessed him having sex with a 17-year-old girl, and he was paying for it, and he was bragging in Congress that he would crush ED drugs with energy drinks so he could go all night with some young girl. So anyway, I think he's probably the wrong guy for, that job. What do you think, Kenny?
That motherfucker need to be in jail, bro.
Yeah, but hey, once you're in, once you lose your values, then it all comes in, Kenny. Once you say it's all right to let a president who's lied to me and 30-something thousand times, who lied on the campaign, who did everything he could to try to overthrow the last election. What's that? What? All the norms are out the window, aren't they? Who pushed the Supreme Court to say he can't be prosecuted for anything. So why? What's that? All the norms are gone. So it doesn't make a difference, does it? If you don't have, that's what morals and stuff is. I had a friend, and he used to tell me this stuff, and I finally had to tell him, hey, stop telling me that stuff. I'm not interested. It doesn't make you look good. Start telling me, well, and he's an old man, older than me. He said, oh, ain't nothing like young girls. And I said, first of all, if you're living right, you don't know nothing about young girls in the first place because, you're old. You shouldn't be messing around with young girls unless that's your fetish. But never should you be messing around with an underage girl, okay? I don't know what your opinion is on that, but I would say that I look down upon any man that's sitting up there trying to have sex with a teenager, okay? I know a lot of people have done that. Shit sad. Yeah, I know. Hey, if that's your thing, and I used to have friends, they used to go to Thailand, and that was their thing. And, when I used to go to Costa Rica, and I didn't know that was a thing, a fetish of men, okay? because I've never had that fetish. I've had young girlfriends. So like when I was 19, I probably went out with a girl that was 18. But, I think I went out once when I was like 18, and there was a girl that was 16 who liked me. But I never did anything with her. And because, I thought, hey, you're messing up somebody's life, because everybody has a progression, and you shouldn't be in that progression because you could take advantage of somebody. So anyway, maybe I'm too pristine for that, but I don't think I am, but I think that would be the norm.
No, there's a bunch of them feel the way you do. That's why when you go to jail after some shit, that's why them inmates do what they got to do.
Yeah, that's why they fuck your ass up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, that's the kind of people he's got around him. And now he's got the Secretary of Defense, the guy he picked, the weekend Fox News host. I'll put his name in the show notes, but he's been accused of drugging some woman, and then when he found out, when she got a rape kit from him. The next morning, she woke up in his room, didn't know what happened, but she knew she had been raped, so she went and filed a rape kit and reported it to the police. Now that's the guy they want to run the Department of Defense. A weekend host on Fox News. His only claim to fame was he was a captain in the military. So, Kenny, you never was in the military, right?
No, I can't handle nobody yelling in my face.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. Do you think there's a difference between when you have officer rank, it goes lieutenant, first lieutenant, and captain. Those are the first three ranks of the officer corps. Okay? Now, so this guy got to be a captain, and who's running the Department of Defense right now is a 4-star general. Okay? So do you think that if a captain could run a 1 million man or a 2 million people organization, do you think they probably would have had a captain to do it before now? Huh?
They should have.
They should never, because he's fucking don't know how to run it. They give a captain has squad capabilities. See, the largest group of men he may lead is probably 200 or 300. That's really stretching it. Okay, he doesn't have the capabilities to do that, the logistical training or any of that. Okay, that would just like saying a sergeant could run a battalion. A sergeant can't. A first sergeant might. But he's got 20 years of experience. Okay, he's been in the military 20 years. He knows the chain of command. He knows how the logistics work. But not no fucking captain in the military that was in the Guard. Okay, so there you go. And the guy was so toxic that when Joe Biden got sworn in, they removed him from the protection detail that they had in Washington because they thought he had like white supremacist views. So what, you let him run the Department of Defense?
Hell no.
No, okay.
He'd probably be too drugged up to make a decision in the first place.
So these are the picks of Trump. So anyway, so that's what we have on the first leg of this journey. But, okay, now for a lighter note, what do you think about that Tyson fight? Jake Paul, Tyson. Did you watch it?
That shit was bullshit, bro. I'll tell you this, if I moved like that, me and him the same age, I'd stay in the house, bro. I know that's not, Mike Tyson wasn't even moving like that when he was training. You know what I mean?
You think it was
rigged?
You think it was rigged? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, he says, let me see. He went to distance, but failed to secure the win. However, he earned the boxing community's respect for his spirit. In a post-fight confession, the former world champion opened up about his health struggles. But it's $20 million. Fuck, I'd get in the ring with some motherfucker And they only did 2-minute rounds, so they were doing the geriatrics rounds. You know,
that's what I'm saying. And the way Mike was trained, he could have did 5-minute rounds.
well, what you saw was excerpts. You know, you saw excerpts from. I remember years ago, probably about 40 years ago, and Muhammad Ali was in the last of his career, and there was a guy who was writing for Time magazine, and he was at his camp, and he says every few, when the champ walked into the room, you saw the old Ali, but as the time went on, you could see how the age had degenerated him over time, you know. So, and he never won a fight even past that, you know, but he had been too long in the tooth. This was in almost the low 90s or something, or late 80s. But he had been, and I was watching him fight in the 70s. So shit, you know, he wasn't, you know, he was way too old for that shit, and he was only hurting himself because he was getting hit in the head more. But Tyson probably needed the money, you know, so that was probably it. So
I heard they was getting sued. Him and Jake Paul was getting sued because it was a fake fight.
Oh, I don't know. Hey. But I think Jake Paul put us in there because when they had to I watched the whole thing. When they had to punch stats, he was putting out about 4 times as many punches as Mike. So he was hitting them. So, and he may be a second-rate fighter, but he still put some ass into what he was doing. So, anyway,
I want to see when he fight a real fighter.
Yeah, okay, we'll see one of these days.
Okay, he get his ass clean puffed.
Okay, so here's some the other thing that since Trump is the what they call it, he has a enemies list. Here's the first thing that somebody has been talking to his advisor, Steve Bannon. It says former Trump White House advisor Steve Bannon told MSNBC's Mari Melber, all you hosts and producers at the network, that they had better lawyer up because Matt Gaetz' Justice Department will soon be coming for them. Okay? So, you know, maybe it's true, but what do you think? The odds of that may be true. He says he's going to go after Biden, Kamala, and Barack Obama, and Michelle Obama, and all these people. What do you think about that?
I hope he don't think them people dumb. People smarter than that.
Well, yeah, but see, hey, it's not about. Do you know how corporations? He owns a corporation, and he knows that it's not about. It's not about if he wins or lose. It's about how he inflicts pain, Kenny. See, he's going to inflict pain on them by keeping, if he charges them for some bullshit, frivolous lawsuit, what must they do? Hire an attorney, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Trump already will own the biggest attorney's office in the world, the Department of Justice, right? Well, when he owns it, it'll be the Department of Injustice. So if he goes after him, all he wants to do is create an atmosphere of fear, because that's what autocrats want. They want you to be in fear of them. So you'll never say, so any news, he'll put a chill on any news agency to say anything negative about them. So he'll just do an investigation into you. And that's what he said when he told Lewinsky, the guy from Ukraine, to say that he was investigating Biden's son for corruption, and Biden and also, and he says, well, don't worry about if it's true. I just want it to be out there. See, so he wanted to dirty him up. Okay, see, because, you know, a bunch of his followers going to believe it, right? So they're going to believe whatever it is. Oh, well, they wouldn't be coming after you if wasn't nothing in it. Because, they don't, the way they believe things is that, a cult. So when you have a cult, they don't give a shit about, they're going to believe the leader. So the leader says, hey, there's something wrong with them. So there you go. So they're going to say, oh, well, see, Trump was right. Trump was right. They stole the election from him. Well, why didn't Biden he owned all the levers of power right now. Why wouldn't he make sure that Trump didn't win? Huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was the thing with that Joe Rogan. He comes back later on. He says, oh, what do you know? The fucking elections are real. There wasn't cheating, So, when
they were saying that Elon Musk had his people doing some shit too,
oh,
right?
yeah, he had some type of pack, and he was out there having he had black people on his staff, and they had brought them from all over the country, and they were door knocking, and then they told them that if they didn't get enough doors done, they wasn't going to pay for their hotels and shit like that, and they didn't even tell them what they were going to do, and they put an ad in the paper, oh, for political work, and you'll get paid this amount of money. So everybody said, oh, shit, and they're going to play your plane fare, but what they did was use that to, to make them forced labor, So, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he was a big thing, and he paid for a lot of the commercials you saw on the television about one of the, some of the commercials like Trump, Kamala is for they, them, meaning transsexuals and stuff like that. And Trump is for you, But, hey, let me tell you something, America. Let's see how he's going to be for you. You will find out. You are going to get the KY. No, it won't be KY. It'll be a raw dog fuck. Let me tell you.
Who overrides the president?
The Senate and the House of Representatives. But let me ask you something. Does this party have both of those?
Yep.
And the Supreme Court. And he's picked the last three members of the three members of the Supreme Court. I think Biden got to do one, Ketanji Brown Jackson. I think that was the only person he got to put on the Supreme Court.
It looks like that was the only one he wanted to put on that.
No. He would have put them all on there if he would have got a chance to. But what they're doing now in the Senate is putting, every day they're throwing as many judges as they can to put up a firewall against Trump. So they're going to get, because those are lifetime appointments. So you get the people that you want to at least do as a bulwark against some of Trump's most horrible things that he'll be doing in office. But, of course, he'll continue to sign judges, too. So, anyway, let me, I got a little bit of, because I told you I'm going to try a little something different in the podcast. I want to give you this good old boy poem. Did I do that the last time? I don't think I did.
A poem?
A poem from a good old boy.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
I did do that one? Okay.
Not that one, but I know you was reading something last
No. This guy's going to read it, so I'm going to play it, okay? And you give me your opinion on the other side.
I was born and raised in the deep, deep South. And down here, they'll run their mouth about things their little old brain can't comprehend. Well, it's N-word this or flag it that. They've went around town with baseball bats just looking for some poor old soul to end. Now, you think down here in the Bible Belt, people know how Jesus felt about hating someone just because of their skin? And they claim to be all patriotic, but I think they must be on narcotics because they raise a flag from a war they weren't even in. Now, a lot of them along the way, they were brainwashed by the NRA, those profiteers of lies and fear and hate. And then Fox News destroyed their brains and smartphones made them more deranged. They loved their propagandized Russian bait. And they think they're smart because they've seen some bullshit scroll across their screen that they think justifies their point of view. When you hit them with some cold hard facts, they'll call you names or they'll just laugh and chalk it up to what they call fake news. And they claim that they love babies until the child's first breath. But if that child's too poor to live, they'll let it starve to death. And they demonize first ladies just because she's black, and then adore the one that posed for corn spread eagle on her back. Then they talk of family values, but that just don't hold water. They stand behind a man who said he wants to fuck his daughter. And if you don't think we're Americans because of our liberal views, your come to Jesus moment is coming here for you. Now, I know you'd like to take us back to 1852, but it's time we finally take the red out of old red, white, and blue. Inmate Trump, 2024.
Okay, what do you think of that?
That's some powerful stuff, bro. Who is that?
That's a good old boy. I'm going to put his name in the show notes. Yeah, I'm going to put his name. He's got a podcast. No, he puts stuff on Substack. So I did. I was working real hard just to get it on here, so I didn't put his name on the show notes when I was putting them down. So anyway, that I just wanted to see like I was telling people, I was saying in the last part, not all white people are crazy or are like racist. This guy understand what it is, and he's a good old boy. So we can't paint everybody with a brush, but when you find out who their asses is, then you need to treat them appropriately, you know? So you just, but don't jump on everybody because they have, the color of their skin, because we don't want people to treat us like that. Okay, so I have a little note here. Let me see, who was this? It says, it's my hypothesis from yesterday, the Democrats' best way to win elections and regain political power is to engage in class warfare against the GOP and the billionaires that fund it. The immediate question is how. The last century has seen two presidents engage in class warfare in a big and direct way that not only won them multiple elections, but also altered the electoral map of America. Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Ronald Reagan. There are multiple lessons to be learned from both. When FDR came into power in March 1933, the nation was in shambles because a decade of Republican mishandling of the economy. In the early 1920s, Republican President Warren Harding dropped the top income tax rate from 91% to 25% and loosened oversight of Wall Street. Now, this is from Tom Hartman. I will put a link to that. But see, what, you've heard the thing there, Kenny, that those who don't understand, that don't learn from the lessons of history are doomed to repeat it. You've heard that statement, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I see, where we are in America today. People are they had forgotten the Great Great Depression. You see, I was watching. There was a guy, and I can't remember his name, Joe Kahn or something like that, but he was running for Senate, and he sent me an email and said he didn't win. I think he was running against Josh Hawley, but I'll put his real name in there. But anyway, the guy had a whole bunch of Republicans write him and say, well, I can't vote for a Democrat, and says, I just can't. I think you're a nice guy, but I think the Democrats are such, and I thought to myself, I said, what do they have against Democrats, And one of the things is they were trying to say that Democrats are socialists. You know what they come up with, socialism and Democrats? Social Security. Democrats created Social Security. And I have yet to find the elderly person that doesn't take his Social Security check. Have you ever found that motherfucker?
No, I want to get mine.
Okay, and then Medicare. Well, I do have a friend that went out and didn't get Medicare, and he could paid for it. He could have paid for Medicare, but he said, "Oh no, I'll stay on the private thing." So now, I pay for Medicare, and it may not stay the same, but right now I pay for Medicare. I pay like what would have been one payment for my health insurance the year before I came on Medicare. One payment, 1 month's payment, I pay for the whole year. Now, you're going to tell me that's not a great deal. Huh? You know who got you that? Democrats. Okay.
Democrats got that?
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. Do you know who got us the civil rights? Democrats. Got us the Voting Rights Act. Democrats.
Democrats.
Okay. So when you say you don't like these things, and then also Lyndon Johnson created welfare and food stamps, and you know who's the most the recipients of welfare and food stamps? Who do you think?
Yeah, white people.
White people. Oh, look at you, Kenny. You're scoring, baby. So, but they don't like all those social things. And you know why they don't like those social things? Come on, tell me.
Them out to the front part.
Huh?
So that who really needs what?
No. Because they don't mind them getting it, but they don't want nobody else to get it. You see?
That's what I'm saying. It's them that really need it. You know what I mean? Because they make shit so difficult now. It's hurting their own people.
Yeah.
People,
you cut your nose off to spite your face. So that's what it is that they don't mind those programs, but you see, they have, I started this whole podcast, and I always say the white guy mind trick. I've told you about that, right, Kenny?
Yeah.
And the white guy mind trip is part of the disease of racism that's permeated. Do you think that these people have said, I watched Joe Rogan, and he was a couple of shows after he had got Trump in the office and stuff like that. And then they had a litany, and I'm going to bring it up in the new season, but they had a litany of what his beliefs are. And he was telling people and other shows, well, hey, I don't want people to be poor. I think there should be welfare. I don't think Social Security should be there. I think they should help people out when they need it. I think everybody should have medical care. But yet and still, he voted for he recommended Donald Trump. Now, and you know what they asked him? They said, well, why did you do that, Joe? He said, well, the Democrats lied. Now, come on, Kenny. How many fucking lies have Trump told? They stopped counting. There's in the 35,000 lies. Almost everything comes out of his mouth is a lie. But the Democrats lie. And maybe they do. Maybe they come up with a couple of lies. Okay, that's good. So what are we living in? A double standards where only the fucking Republicans can lie and the Democrats can't? What kind of shit is that? What? Where do you get off on that?
Shit crazy, bro.
Huh?
All of it is bullshit, dude.
Yeah. Tell me, Kenny, because I'm trying to make how they rationalize, but I'm not going to give them credit because I watch AOC, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and she was talking about, and she tried to hand them a crutch. Well, let me say something. I love her a lot. I think she'll probably be the first Hispanic president one of these days. I don't know if I'll live to see it, but she's got political instinct. But one of the things I say is, well, she said she had, after the election was over, she found people who voted for her and Trump. Now, you know there's a spectrum here. She's on one end of the spectrum, and Trump's on the other end of the spectrum. So she said, "Hey, I wanna go out. I wanna reach out to my constituents and see what the fuck. Why would you vote for me and Trump at the same time?" So people came on and they talked to her and they said, "Well, you just like Trump." See, which I would think it would be an insult. But she said, "You're just like your Trump. You speak your mind. You're real. You're genuine." Well, yeah, she's telling you the fucking truth, and he's telling you a lie. Okay? He's telling people that, they're going to be no overtime. There's not going to be any overtime. No taxes on overtime. Okay? Do you really believe that he's going to give you no taxes on overtime?
When they get rid of something, they add something.
No, it ain't never going to happen, because here, who's going to pay the taxes? He's going to give another tax break, because the big tax break that he gave to the billionaires the last time he was in office is expiring. So he's going to have to renew that legislation. And let me tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be a new fucking... That's going to be in his first 100 days in office. He's going to get that thing because he has the Congress and he has the Senate. So he's going to get that shit passed for the rich people, all the rich people that spent the billions of dollars to support him. He's going to get that shit passed for him. So who do you think the government runs off of air? It runs off of taxes. So when Ronald Reagan gave his first tax break, you know who paid for the tax break?
Yeah, the poor people.
That's right. You see, because a long time ago, Kenny, let me clue you in. You used to, when you worked all your fucking life and you got Social Security, you didn't have to pay tax on it. So when Brother Reagan got in office and came in, he said, well, these people on Social Security, they need to have skin in the game. Well, why the fuck should they? Why the fuck should somebody who worked fucking 40 years of their fucking life, why do they have to continue? Because they're going to pay taxes anyway. Everything they buy is taxed. They go to the fucking Costco to buy tires. There's excise tax. They go to the store and buy their food. They're paying tax. They're still going to pay state tax, but no, they have to pay federal taxes too. Now, why is that? When they were already exempt, they didn't have to pay. So he gave a tax break to the richest people, took the tax rate down from the high 70% down to the 20s or 30s for the rich people. But you know who made it up? The poor-ass motherfucker who was on Social Security, and they lowered the rate of taxes on, if you made a certain amount of money, you didn't have to pay any taxes. So he brought that down so you'd all have to pay something. But the rich people got the biggest benefit. Same thing with Trump. Okay? So these stupid fucks who are saying, oh, well, he's going to make me tips. And you know what that tip thing is for, Kenny? You know what that tip, no taxes on tip? Well, what they have been thinking about is, people on Wall Street, what they're going to try to do for like stockbrokers and shit, call all of their income tips. Huh? Think about that. So these motherfuckers who are making $1 million, $2 million a year working on Wall Street, they're not going to pay their fucking tax. So that's going to be the tip. The tip of the dick in your ass. That's the tip. But it's dry. No KY on it. The fucker don't have the good sense to spit on the motherfucker to make it slippery. Okay? So that's what you're going to get, America. Watch my words. Watch the scallywag's words, and you shall be enlightened. You can say, oh, fuck, that motherfucker was right. Who the fuck? Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm saying. Now, you said no tax on overtime. Well, just a week ago, the Biden administration, working for you all the fucking time, tried to raise the amount of wages that somebody from $30-something thousand to $41,000 so that they could get overtime. And guess what? Who do you think shot it down?
The Republicans?
Some Trump judge that he put in the office shut down your ability to get overtime. Now, do you think the same? Do you think his mindset was different from Trump? Do you think this judge's mindset was different? Huh?
No,
he's working. The man who hired him gave him the ground rules to do, and he fucked you. When Joe Biden was trying to help you get overtime. But no. You say, there was a thing with Trump at Madison Square Garden watching some fight, and there was a bunch of ex-people, youngsters. I work in a restaurant, and Trump, I just want to shake his hand. He's going to make sure that, you keep waiting for your tips not to get taxed after they created a mechanism to pull those tips. In fact, let me remind these dumb fucks that Trump was when he got into office told the fucking people in the restaurant that they can take half of your all or most of your tips and keep it to them because it was coming to the restaurant. So you were sharing your tips before you get to keep them and get taxed on your tips, and keep them in your pocket. Now, if the owner of the restaurant wanted to keep some of your tips, he could do it under Trump. So, do you think this motherfucker was consciously working towards helping you? Tell me, Kenny, what do you think? You think, what you have to look at is what people do in the past. Past is prologue, right?
Yep.
Past tell you what you're going to do in the future. Okay. So anyway, now I have another insight that Cheryl and Eiffel.
Who?
Cheryl and Eiffel.
No.
Okay. Well, I've got a little. She did she was the main lawyer for the NAACP. Okay. And this is going to be one of her writings. And as remember, I told you, there are going to be some dark times ahead. So she wrote this and to give you some hope. So listen to this.
Why are we here? A dispatch from the Nadir by Sherilyn Eiffel. You don't want to hear the truth. I know you're upset, but we're just going to upset you more. Fannie Lou Hamer, 1968. Thanks for reading Sherilyn's newsletter. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work. It wasn't the Electoral College. It wasn't gerrymandering or even voter suppression. America was undone this week by the disease that sits in our national DNA, white supremacy. From its very beginnings, our country has either embraced white supremacy or made compromises to accommodate it. Right there in the first article of our Constitution is the 3/5 compromise, the agreement to count enslaved black people as 3/5 of a person to accommodate the interests of those whose livelihood was premised on extracting free labor from enslaved black people. The compromises of our first Constitution led this country on an inexorable path towards fracture and potential destruction. The Civil War was the result. 600,000 Americans dead. A nation divided. A president assassinated. And then in Reconstruction, the hope and promise of a new America. But the betrayal of Reconstruction, sanctioned and legalized by the Supreme Court, was yet another compromise with the forces of white supremacy. Black people once again bore the brunt of that compromise, in sharecropping, convict leasing, lynching, wealth theft, and degradation. The historian Rayford Logan described this period, the nadir. Generations of black people to this day bear its effects. I was warned by writer Isabel Wilkerson after Trump won the 2016 election, that we were entering another nadir. She was right. Her words set me to studying the nadir. And I am reminded that despite the very real challenges we faced, it was also during the nadir that the Harlem Renaissance was born, that black people built institutions like the NAACP, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the first black labor union, the Schomburg Center, sororities and fraternities, clubs and black churches and colleges, that sustained us and birthed those whose children would become the activists and lawyers of the civil rights movement. Fueled by the hard work, creativity and vision of their parents and grandparents, those descendants demanded in the courts and in the streets that this country turn away from the corrosive poison of white supremacy. Great progress was made, but we have been in the throes of a backlash to those advances for 50 years. And so, we are here because far too many in this country have believed that a healthy democracy can accommodate white supremacy. Last night Americans learned what I have insisted for some time: we can either compromise with white supremacist ideology or have a healthy democracy. Not both. To my dismay, a majority of white voters chose to accommodate white supremacist ideology and its attendant patriarchy, rather than pursue inclusive democracy. Indeed, given Mr. Trump's explicit, coarse, ugly expressions of racism and misogyny, we must accept that a majority of white Americans in fact have chosen to embrace white supremacy rather than the promise of a multiracial democracy. The choice between darkness and light in this election could not have been clearer, and the choice that was made by a majority of white voters is unmistakable. There will be a great deal of analysis about the past decade and about this election, but I believe that we must begin with hard truths about the power of racism and its grip on this country. It lives in our national DNA. And until we are prepared to take aggressive measures to contain it, we will never be able to protect and secure democracy in America from its devastating effects. And so, there are 5 things I believe we must prioritize in our thinking. The U.S. will now be run by a white supremacist authoritarian president and a political party that has chosen to accept that brand as its identity. There will be real danger for marginalized people in this country, for migrants, for the press, for universities, for foundations, and for those living in states and cities disfavored by this regime. The rule of law failed. Trump should never have been permitted to run for president again. The failure to impeach and convict him after January 6th set us on this path. Every senator who voted against his conviction bears responsibility for what will happen to this country. Every hesitation in prosecuting Trump for crimes that were easily ascertainable in 2021 was mistaken. We were at DEFCON 1 and instead treated it as a non-emergency. Refusing to impeach and convict Trump, and refusing to prosecute him for crimes already revealed the weakness of our democratic institutions. The Supreme Court's refusal to honor the explicit provisions of the 14th Amendment designed to protect against the return of insurrectionists to elected office was the nail in the coffin. Our spirits will be assaulted in the coming months, by coarse and crude language, by open displays of violence, of privilege, and of unchecked power. We may feel as if we are occupied by a hostile force. This feeling will combine with our grief to weaken and exhaust us. We must hold on to the things that refresh our spirits: time with family, music, art, nature, hobbies, food. We must protect our core. The consequences for the world will be vast: in global environmental degradation, in unchecked imperial expansion across the globe, in famine, wars, and economic devastation. You can leave this country, and I fully support those who take that course, but you will not escape the effects that the fall of the U.S. to authoritarians will visit on the globe. Now we must plan and regroup. As black people, we will have particular conversations and strategies we must employ to ensure our survival in this country, a 400-year project that remains perilous. We will fight and we will survive. If this is the nadir, then it is planting time. Building our own institutions, theories and strategies, making art and seeding ideas that can be carried forward in the coming years. Yes, the harvest will come. But for now we plant. For white people who reject white supremacist ideology and believe in democracy, for Asian Americans, Muslim Americans, Native Americans, and for Latinos, a majority of whom voted against their own interests, a feature of white supremacy. For members of the LGBTQ community, this will be incredibly difficult for you as well. I encourage you to determine now that you will not acquiesce, and think about how to preserve and protect your own integrity, safety, and communities. We will all work together across race and class and religion, I believe, in this effort. Perhaps not this week, but we will. In the coming weeks, I encourage all of us to reach out across race, sex, religion, and send a text or note to those friends, colleagues, and acquaintances who you know stand on the side of decency, democracy, and equality. Hold on to those bonds. They want to see those bonds broken most of all. Most importantly, we must resolve that we will not acquiesce in our commitment to protecting our dignity, our dreams, our families, and our future. We will need to fight. Not every battle, but enough of them that we have a platform on which to build. Yes, this is America. It always has been. I remain committed to imagining and creating a new America. A true multiracial democracy centered around equality and justice. I believe it lies just over the hill. I do not need to see it in my lifetime to know that it can happen, that it will happen. But we do need to do the work to lay its foundation. And there's no turning back. ####. Thanks for reading Sherilyn's newsletter. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work.
Okay, she's on Substack. So tell me what your gut says, Kenny.
We got to prepare ourselves, bro.
Yeah.
Because shit is in motion now.
Yeah. Well, hey.
But they're going to put so much fucking distractions in front of you so you can't come together as a people. You know what I mean?
Well, no, see.
They're not occupy our mind.
Well, here's the thing, Kenny. I go back what my mom said years ago. Remember the poem I told you? And she becomes my foundation. She said, if you think that you're beaten, you are. And we can never be beaten. We can never think that we're beaten because you see, as a people, we have come so far. And it took time, okay? But what we must understand is there is an evil in our midst, okay? We never exterminated it. We never got rid of it. It just lay dormant, and they have been sitting up in here and they have been trying to rephrase it. And, they have never given up on wanting to be back to what that Make America Great only meant. Hey, let's put everybody back in their place. We're only whites. This whole Make America Great, I can distill it down to one thing. They do not want to be a minority in this country. Okay? Even though the things that made America great, the people, the blacks who helped build this fucking place, the Chinese who built the railroad, the Hispanics who owned the land before them, all of these people built this, okay? It would be me like taking out, saying, okay, the bricks that were laid in my house couldn't have been laid if there wasn't a Hispanic bricklayer. All of those make the whole unit of the thing. But what they want to be in the time of, like, when you looked at the television in 1960s, when you turned it on,
all you see was white.
All you saw was white, and if you saw a black person, they were a buffoon, or they were somebody said, Mr. Ross, you got it going on, some shit like that, So in the final analysis, this. What I'm trying to say is that those people have not gone, and they're close to being gone, but they have bred young people, and that's what those X people that were Generation X that were that were at the fucking the fight with Trump, saying they were happy that he was going to give them something. But let me educate you, my young friend. He ain't giving you shit because the Republicans ain't about giving you shit. If you think so, go on Google and ask about all the laws that the Republicans have done to benefit your household, your family, and your security, and you will find there are very limited laws. Everything that they have done was to fuck you. Why do you think we don't have a national health care system? Because of the Republicans. They went and tried to get Eisenhower tried to get national health care, and his own party because I think he was a Republican, so his own party balked on him. So it's always been the Republicans. When Bill Clinton tried to get you national health care, they tore his ass down. He had his wife working on it, and they beat the shit out of Hillary when she was trying to get you health care. And then when Barack Obama did it, he tried to get you health care, but he gave it to the private industry, gave it to all the health care companies, gave them a tax subsidy, made them richer. Okay? But they still didn't want it. They had him in a witch doctor suit, fucking telling you that he was a socialist or the communist, because he was trying to get you what the whole world gets for free. Every fucking country in the world has socialized medicine because they think that is a value for the fucking country. Why is it this is the only country that don't have it? Because we're afraid of socialism. How is it? How is it something that hurts you? Well, how would that hurt America by having a national health care system? How does it hurt America that you say that you try to change the retirement age? The retirement age used to be 63. Now it's 66. And now they're trying to get it to be 70, Kenny. Okay? So, and those are Republicans that are doing it. Say, oh, we can't afford. The simple fix is to make everybody pay into Social Security, because everybody pays. Well, when you buy a tire, everybody pays the tax, right? You pay the excise tax. There's no exemption. The only people that get exemptions on tax are Indians on the reservation. They don't have to pay for the tax sticker on a pack of cigarettes. Those people get exemptions, but everybody pays fucking taxes. Okay. You go to the store, you buy something, unless you're a business and you're doing selling it for wholesale, picking up an item from Costco and you got a wholesale license, you don't pay taxes then, but you pay taxes when you sell it. Okay. But you pay taxes. Everybody does. So the same thing goes if you're a billionaire. Do you think that if the country has blessed you to make you a billionaire and you don't have any responsibilities to the people, the structure of the system that help you get to be a billionaire, oh, it's all mine. I did it all. See, and that's the hubris of a rich man. He always thinks everything he did is perfect. Have you seen Elon Musk? Okay. Do you think he's some type of genius?
Hell no, he gets the smart people. He paid the smart people to come do this shit.
Yeah, he does not impress me with anything. I know he's got Asperger's or some type of disability, but he still doesn't impress me as he's a flawed human being. He cannot, if you see him there, he doesn't know how to act around people. And, I'm just an old knuckle dragger, but I know how to act around people. I make a good show of it, okay? I'm kind of awkward, but I still make a good show of it. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. So this is what, what we have to look forward to in the coming years. But what I want to do is what we're going to do in the coming years is show the people how they're getting fucked. And then we're going to probably have an episode of Fuck Around and Find Out. Since you fucked around, you're going to find out what's happening to you. See, every fucking new thing. Right now, they're trying to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they're saying that white people have been the victim of discrimination. Have you ever seen any white people being the victim of discrimination there, Kenny?
Not one, unless they try to go and get some soul food and everybody steal it.
Well, and I don't think they refuse you. You get some soul food. They don't tell you to go to the. They don't tell you to go to the back door. They let you. We let you in the restaurants. We don't do. I don't know if any discrimination, but And then I'll have that audio next week. But this white man says with a straight face that white people are being discriminated against. And Jasmine Crockett said, well, show me the white people got lynched. Show me the white people that had the government working against them and redlining, the government working against them and VA loans and the government working against them to make sure that they live in polluted communities, building communities that you would live in that were polluted, fucking you over you, making sure that your schools were substandard. Show me that discrimination. See, I want to see it. Tell me about the experiments that the government was running on you when they had to cure you, and they kept their experiments going because they was curious on what this disease is going to do you over the period of your life. You know,
Yeah.
Tell me about the zoos that they had for you. Tell me about the women that they let rape, the people they let you, the white people that have been killed and not having be held by a black person, and not that black person not being held accountable. I'll bet you they come into the handfield, but on the other side of the equation, they are legions. You see? So you're fucking liar in Congress, you know, you are just one of the problems, okay? You're just perpetuating the racism. See, they don't want to call it racist, but they're trying to say diversity, equity, because you finally, after 50, 60 years of segregation and racial denial, that's going to be next week's thing to look at. I got a November 22nd, 1963, the day Kennedy was killed, and see what was going on then. And this race cycle continues. America, you need to unshackle yourself from your racist mind. The only way you're going to survive is to become a multicultural democracy. Without that, you are doomed. Take that from me. You are doomed. And if you don't think, if you want to kill yourself, go ahead. Because you're going to. Anyway, Kenny, that is going to be the end of this show. You got anything you want to add?
That's about it. We just got to band together and try to keep the people informed on how to protect themselves, because shit is about to hit the fan.
That's it. Hey, but it's kind of like, you know what a tardigrade is there, Kenny?
A who?
A tardigrade.
No, what is that?
Okay. It is the most dynamic creature on the face of the earth. This thing can live in boiling water. It can live in the vacuums of space. Look it up. It's called the tardigrade. It looks like a little elephant, and it's like the size of the head of a pin. And that's what we must be, the tardigrade, because we will endure no matter what you throw to us, because we are just like the tardigrade. We have endured too much, and we will never unass this country. Believe it. Okay, here we go.
The world is spinning out of control, a never-ending cycle of blood and soul. Families torn apart, children left alone, as they march to the battlefield with hearts of stone. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain. Bombs exploding, bullets flying all around us. There's no denying the horror of war. The price we pay for our leaders, greed, day after day. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain.
Okay, that's the end of season 3 and episode 20. Take us out, Kenny.
If you let them condone this shit, they gonna own your shit. Get your head out the sand.
Okay, no, not out of the sand, out of your ass. Get your head out of your ass and into the game. We have the struggle, a 4-year struggle. Let's all put our shoulders to the wheel and move that rock.